What's up guys, it's your boy Nintendo Studios here, aka NCSL7 here, finally reviewing Luigi's Mansion 3 on the Switch. It's honestly crazy that I can even say those words right now. I never thought Luigi's Mansion 3 would happen, but it happened alright. And it has been a long wait since its initial reveal trailer back in last September, all the way to just about a week and a half ago when the game finally landed on Halloween, easily the best Halloween I've ever had in my life. Because not only was there lots and lots of candy for me to get fat, but there was this game as well to just kill off my brain cells, but not really at the same time. So, let's not even delay this any further. Let's review Luigi's Mansion 3 on the Switch. Now, I'm going to do my categories just like my other reviews, starting off with the presentation of this game, along with the graphics and animations. You'll understand why I mentioned that last one later, but the presentation of this game is so good! It's pretty much the actual sequel to the original Luigi's Mansion game on the GameCube. Yes, there was Dark Moon, but I feel like this is the true sequel. Like, Dark Moon was a really good game, but 3 honestly feels like it should have been 2. I'm not trying to bash Dark Moon or anything like that, but this is the true evolution of Luigi's Mansion. Because, oh my god, this game is so pretty, and those graphics, oh my god. The game runs at 1080p, and it's pretty much fine in TV mode or handheld mode. I initially did think that the graphics did look a little lower in handheld mode, but I played a little more in handheld mode, and I actually don't think it's that bad. But where this game really shines is how good everything looks. Everything looks great. You can see it on the screen right now. It looks so good. It's basically a living cartoon. That's what this feels like. And back into that animation thing I mentioned earlier. Good God, the animations in this game. It is made by Next Level Games, so they are well known for their animating, but my God, some of this animation really reminds me of Pixar animation. I'm not kidding. And there is so much animation in this game. In terms of just the cutscenes, I believe there's around an hour of cutscenes. They literally could have just compiled all the cutscenes from this game and called it Luigi's Mansion, the movie. They literally could have just called it Luigi's Mansion, the movie. They may as well just make a Luigi's Mansion movie while they're at it. I mean, that's pretty much what they're doing at this point. They have so many cutscenes, and the game overall in normal gameplay is just so well animated. How Luigi moves through the environments, how he freaks out to various things happening around him, and even getting a little shaken up when he walks for a while. It's just so good. Oh my goodness, and I was able to harp on the graphics so much. Now let's get into the story, and I gotta be honest, pretty good setup. It's different than the first 2 games. So essentially, Mario, Luigi, Peach, and 3 Toads basically get their way to a resort known as the Last Resort, apparently through an invitation in the mail, which was a really good idea, because that's the same sort of setup in the first game, except it was haunted. But this time, the hotel and resort just looks really nice. It's really bright, and all seems well until Luigi eventually wakes up in the dark hotel, only to find out that the hotel is not as it seems, and pretty much enters what I call the dark hour, where the hotel isn't bright anymore and is instead a creepy manifestation holding all these ghosts captive. Here you actually meet that the owner of the hotel, Helen Gravely, actually is King Boo's supposed biggest fan, and supposedly released King Boo from whatever it was that EGAD kept the Boos captive in Dark Moon. I don't know how they do this. I don't know, EGAD just needs to get better security. King Boo tries to catch Luigi and put him in a portrait along with the others, but he is able to escape and eventually gets to EGAD's car to get the Poltergeist G00. And simply put, he has to get elevator buttons to reach various floors to save all his friends and defeat King Boo one last time, along with Helen Gravely. So, that's pretty much the story. It's similar to Mario Sunshine as well, in the sense of where they get there. It seems all good and dandy, but then stuff just goes wrong. Except this time, it was an obvious trap. Well, maybe not super obvious, but still. So story-wise, I mean, I don't really need to say anything because it's a Mario game, but it's really, really good. I like it a lot. Now we get to gameplay, and oh god, the gameplay in this game. If this game was created by Jesus, I mean, this game probably was created by Jesus, because, oh my god, this game is so much fun to play. Moving around is so good. They removed the run button from Dark Moon, which actually took a little bit of time to get used to, but it feels so refined. Not having a run button just feels so much more big. I don't know why. It's very similar in style to Dark Moon. You can essentially use a strobe bulb and then flash it on ghosts to stun them, and then you catch the ghosts. But the new addition when catching ghosts is the slam ability. Dark Moon had this power gauge thing, was pretty much shakes the ghosts up with electricity, but this time you slam the ghosts around the environment, and it's really cool. Although it can be pretty overpowered, it just can be, but it is so much fun. You can also use a slam to slam the ghosts you're catching into other ghosts to drain their health, which I think is where the problem comes with this ability, as it can just drain the ability so much. But the ghosts in this game have so much health, it's not really an issue, and I honestly do find the ghost catching in this game to be a little more difficult than the other games, to be honest. It is a little more difficult, and the thing is, with the slam ability, it's not required. You can technically capture every ghost without having to use the slam ability, except for a few exceptional ones. Another ability you have is the fart. Pretty much it's called the fart. Not really, but I like to call it this. Essentially, it's really the burst, which essentially allows you to jump in Luigi's Mansion. Yeah, Luigi is known for jumping, but can't jump in Luigi's Mansion 1 and 2. Although he can sort of jump in Luigi's Mansion 3. And it's a cool maneuver. It's pretty cool, but they don't really do as much with this ability as I wanted them to. I feel like it's just kind of something there for floor traps. It's a cool ability, but the worst thing is that it locks you in place, which, I don't know, it just seems off. We also have the suction shot, which if you played Smash Ultimate or just seen Luigi's moveset in Smash Ultimate, you would know about this one. You essentially fire off a plunger at the various things in the environment to slam them apart. Say there's some boxes blocking your path. Well, instead of having to go and get a bomb, this time you could just hook a plunger on it and then just slam it apart. You can also use it on ghosts and such, and a lot in the environment, and it's really cool, but I really wonder why they never took it further and made it a grappling hook. Imagine if that was a possibility. That would be so dope. And we have one last thing. Luigi. And he was in the remake of the original game on the 3DS, but now Luigi has a much more important role, as he pretty much is everything Luigi is, but now made out of goo. This does have a few advantages. He can get through much smaller spaces that humans can't. Though the thing is, he's prone to water. He can die by it, which is not good. And the game is just so much fun to play. Like, the gameplay just works so well, especially with the controls of this game. I mean, everything works the way you'd want it to. So, not much to say there. And in terms of content, well, the game is $60 right now. I don't know. Essentially, you have the main game itself, the story mode, which for me took around roughly 9 hours to beat, which is kind of short for a $60 game, but it impressed me most of the time. It was a fun game, but it is a bit short. However, there are two other modes, Scream Park and Scare Scraper. Now, anyone who's played Dark Moon knows what Scare Scraper is. You and 3 other people, or if it's just yourself, if you're like me, alone, you essentially tackle another sort of tower, and the main objective is to catch every ghost on this floor, or you have to rescue all the toads on the floor. It's a lot of fun, and I think they really made it better than Dark Moon, but I mean, I haven't really gotten to play it much, considering I don't have anyone who has Luigi's Mansion 3 around me, and I don't have an online subscription, so I pretty much had to play by myself. And just a little thing to mention, playing Scare Scraper in Luigi's Mansion 3 by yourself is not fun. It just isn't, so I'm just gonna say that right here. We also have Scream Park, which I unfortunately wasn't able to check out. I mean, to be honest, based on how it looks, it looks cool, but it doesn't look at all in depth. It just looks sort of meh. Cool to have, but not really something to get excited about. And that's that. And next we come to the game's soundtrack, and oh god, I don't know what it is about this game, but I feel like the soundtrack is less good than the other games. The original game had not many songs. I mean, it had a good amount of songs, but many of the songs from the first game were just variants of the main theme. Although it was still memorable, it wasn't the best thing. Now, Dark Moon, that game had instruments and all that stuff. It had songs, alright. It had so many songs. Yeah, there were many variations of songs, but there was a lot of music in Dark Moon overall. Luigi's Mansion 3 has a lot of songs as well, although none of them are really that memorable outside of the main theme of the game, Egad's Lab, and a few other songs in the game. That's pretty much it. I don't know what it is about this game. It's better than Yoshi's New Island soundtrack, but I don't know. It just seems very maybe because the game relies much more on ambiance and such, which is a cool touch, but I don't know. They could have done a lot more with this game, to be honest. And this is where I would go into my final thoughts, but it's time to talk about some things I didn't necessarily like, or things that I just want to mention. I think the first thing to mention are the boss ghosts, which are pretty much this game's version of the portrait ghosts. See, Dark Moon didn't have portrait ghosts at all. It just had the common ghosts and the boss ghosts, which all the boss ghosts looked exactly the same and didn't look very interesting. This time around, every boss ghost is pretty much a portrait ghost, and they have one per floor. And I really like their designs. They really do look cool. And I also love the design of their boss fights. For most of them, that is. I love the designs of the boss fights because I feel like they really learned how to make good boss fights in a Luigi's Mansion game. But I have one problem that just makes these boss ghosts not as interesting. The fact that they don't have any backstory or depth at all. Honestly, they feel like characters that exist for no reason other than being a block in your path. They seem to just do nothing but just be another reason you can't get to another floor or move on in the game. Not many of them even have dialogue either. I think the only one that has dialogue is Helen Gravely, and she's the main antagonist of the game. Technically, if you don't count King Boo. And even she lacks any backstory. There's nothing to her, which is really sad. And another thing I don't like is the constant trope of them being evil. I don't know. Now this is an exception with one of the other ghosts in the game, Morty, the movie director, as he actually is one of the only good ghosts in the game, and I would put a spoiler warning there, but you could watch this stuff from E3 2019, I don't really care. Morty was an exception because he was actually one of the only ghosts that was actually good and didn't really want to harm you, and actually being able to catch him was much more interesting considering you had to do stuff for him. Whereas all the other boss ghosts, you pretty much have to just get to their battle arena and fight them. All they would pretty much do is just do something to make you mad. I don't know why. I know they're boss ghosts and they're not necessarily portrait ghosts, but I wish there was some more personality to some of them. I feel like some of them have some good personality traits, but so many of them just have the same trope of they are bad, get to them. I don't know, I really wish they were more varied. They just feel like enemies. It's fine, but I don't know. that's pretty much all I have to say on that. And another problem is just the simple fact that there just isn't much variety in the common ghosts. I mean, there's the goobs, these blue ghosts we've seen ever since the original trailer. These red things called hammers, which are just awkward looking. They look like the red ghosts from Dark Moon, but just a lot more ugly looking. I'm not into it. They're also, and these two I don't really mind catching, but then we have the two other common ghosts, which are just annoying to catch. The orange ghost is basically the replacement of the hider ghost from Dark Moon. Essentially, they hide in furniture, and you have to search the furniture to get them out. Basically, hide and seek. But my God, are they annoying to catch in this game. It seems like they seem to move so fast that it's actually ridiculous, and when you think they're in one spot, they're on the other side of the room. It's just annoying. And then you also have these purple ghosts as well. They're pretty much an evolution of the sneakers from Dark Moon, which pretty much sneak up behind you and scare you. And these purple ghosts are also annoying to catch because it seems like they're always in the most weird places and they can move so fast. I'm not into it at all. And there's also another ghost in the game that I'm kind of inclined to talk about, the trappers. But these ghosts are so rare that I can't really say much about them. And then just smaller versions of the blue and red ghosts. Not a lot of common ghost variety compared to the previous two games, so there's that. But overall, oh my God, this game is so good. I know I went on and on for a while there about some bad stuff about the game, but I honestly really like this game. This is pretty much all I want from a Luigi's Mansion title at this point. And I don't think it's perfect, but you know what? That makes me more excited for another game. Another game that can pretty much fix this game's problems. That's what I'm ready to see. And given that we're going to be getting DLC with this game, I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with this game. Now, does this game beat the original two games? I'm not sure about that. Maybe. But on my scale of 0 to 10, I give this game an easy 9.5 out of 10. Super good game. A game that's worth everybody's time. Well, thanks for watching this video, and make sure to like this video and subscribe if you guys enjoyed this review. And yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next time. Peace.
It's showtime! Did you enjoy the show? Well, time for the highlight.